Don't worry, it's not going to be technical, like you have to do coding and things like that. No, but at least we need to know uh, the the language science behind the technology that we are using. At least you need to know how it works. You don't need to be able to do it, but you need to perhaps be able to explain to other people how this technology works and how machine learning and AI actually help this technology to work, right? So the outline of the lecture, the class today, it's in the first part will be lecture from me, and it will last for around 1 hour. So in the first part, I will talk about what machine learning and AI are, and then I move on to show you some of the examples of machine learning and AI technology that we use in our daily lives. Then I will go into a specific area of language learning and language use, right, to see how machine learning and AI actually help with language learning on the one hand and language use on the other. Because I mean, these are two different things, right? Because I mean, if you think about technology that help you learn the language, so it's basically you use technology to learn new vocabulary, to practice reading and practice listening and so on. But with the machine learning and AI, that facilitate language use. Okay, it's a different perspective that we looked at. One prime example is all the messaging services, you know, like Messenger, Line, WhatsApp, and so on and so forth. Those are not specifically designed for language learning, right? But it actually facilitates language use because it allows you to use more language, in your daily life, you know, and that is also powered by machine learning and AI. And towards the end of the lecture, I will show you some examples of machine learning and AI that are designed specifically for language learning as a language learning tool. All right. Okay. So now let me get started with you. So, and I mean, I was forgotten towards the end, there will be activity for you to try out some of the technology that we talked about today. And, you know, just to think about, you know, the pros and cons of using the technology for language learning. Now, let's start by defining what machine learning is. And although machine learning and AI are not exactly the same, they are not 100% the same. But I think for our purpose, you know, in this class, I think we can equate them. You know, we can use them to mean pretty much the same thing. Machine learning, I think a lot of you know what AI is, right? You know, so something that is, you know, like a computer that has intelligence or has the same intelligence as human, and they can perform tasks that human can do. Machine learning, it's more like a technical aspect of AI, you know, something that happens inside the brain of an AI. And it's a way that people use to make AI work. So machine learning is a subcategory of AI that refers to the process by which computers develop pattern recognition, right? So computer can recognize something, they can observe patterns, they can see patterns. And it's also the ability, okay, of the machine to learn from the data. So we input the data into the machine learn the data. Then they use the data that they learn to make predictions based on data, right? Make prediction based on data. What I mean is just, you know, let's say if we look at some of the concepts in the old day, let's take weather forecast as an example. Weather forecast, they use the data that they have as a way to predict the weather tomorrow. That's why, the prediction it's largely correct. It's not always correct though, but it's largely correct. And so with machine learning, it's using the same process, right? Meaning they use the same data to predict, something that will happen in the future based on the data. Another important aspect of machine learning is the machine itself, the computing thinking, the program itself can make adjustment without being specifically programmed to do so. So they can adjust to the new set of data, making new prediction without having to do the new coding and things like that. With the old technologies, if you want computer to do one thing, you can do code, and then the technology would do it for you. But if you want it to do a different thing, you need to change the code and do it again. With machine learning, it just, when you train them with different sets of data, then they can actually perform the tasks without having to be programmed over and over again. Okay. All right. So that's basically what machine learning is. I know it's very technical at this point, but just be with me. It will get clearer and clearer. And again, if there are any parts that you don't understand, let me know. I'm willing to explain it again. Okay, so maybe I'm not explaining it well. So just tell me. So in the next part, we will have a look at the clip on what machine learning is. I mean, if you looked up on YouTube, right, there are like so many clips explaining machine learning. But I think this one is the most precise one, and it's quite easy to understand. And the example that they show, it's quite relevant to our life. So let's watch together. Okay, let me share the sound.
Our ability to learn and get better at tasks through experience is part of being human. When we're born, we know almost nothing and can do almost nothing for ourselves. But soon, we're learning and becoming more capable every day. But did you know that computers can do the same? Machine learning brings together statistics and computer science to enable computers to learn how to do a given task without being programmed to do so. Just as your brain uses experience to improve at a task, so can computers. Say you need a computer that can tell the difference between a picture of a dog and a picture of a cat. You could begin by feeding it images and telling it, this one's a dog, that one's a cat. A computer programmed to learn will seek statistical patterns within the data that will enable it to recognise a cat or a dog in the future. It might figure out on its own that cats have shorter noses and that dogs come in a larger variety of sizes, and then represent that information numerically, organising it in space. But, crucially, it's the computer, not the programmer, that identifies those patterns and establishes the algorithm by which future data will be sorted. One example of a simple yet highly effective algorithm is to find the optimal line separating cats from dogs. When the computer sees a new picture, it checks which side of the line it falls on and then says either cat or dog. But of course there can be mistakes. The more data the computer receives, the more finely tuned its algorithm becomes, and the more accurate it can be in its predictions. Machine learning is already widely applied. It's the technology behind facial recognition, text and speech recognition, spam filters on your inbox, online shopping or viewing recommendations, credit card fraud detection, and so much more. At the University of Oxford, machine learning researchers are combining statistics and computer science to build algorithms that can solve more complex problems more efficiently, using less computing power. From medical diagnoses to social media, the potential of machine learning to transform our world is truly mind-blowing. To find out more about machine learning, visit oxfordsparks.ox.ac.uk, follow us on Twitter and find us on Facebook.
Okay, so as you can see, I think one good analogy or comparison of machine learning is to compare it with human brain. So just think about machine learning as your brain. Right? When you input new things into your brain learns it. Your brain learns it, and you keep learning from the new data, and you master the skill of being able to do so many things, to distinguish between different colors, different types of animals, and so on. That's what happens with machine learning as well. So we are teaching the machine. So machine is learning from us, not from us as human, but learning from the data that we input into the machine, right? And then they are learning until they can recognize different patterns and things like that. So the more data being input into the program or the system or the machine, the better it gets at the tasks that we train them to do, right? It's not just about machine can learn about everything in the world. No, different program can be trained to do something quite specific. Okay? And so let's say if you train a machine to recognize faces, right, they would just do just that. If you train machine to recognize people's, like smiling patterns, it would do just that. So machine can be trained to do anything, but no machine can do everything, right? So it just, depends on what types of data you are teaching, not what type of data you use to teach the machine, right? Now, here are some of the examples of machine learning products that we have used in our daily life. The first one is quite common, so facial recognition software. So let's say when you post something online, like on Facebook, for example, then you might get a suggestion for tagging different people, right? And they use facial recognition. They actually look at the face that in the photo that you post, and they compare it with the number of faces, that they have in their database, right? And they will be able to match, and they would offer you some suggestion. So that's why, let's say if you put a photo with your friends, then all social media platform might suggest you, would you like to tag this person, and so on. So that's the first one. The second one is Google search. Google search is, I know it's quite generic. Okay? So it's general, so you can search for anything. But and many of you may not know that different people, when they put in the same keywords, they will not get exactly the same results. So it would depend on your interest, your previous activities with Google as well. So that would actually customize the result that you will see on the screen. So it's very personalized in a sense, right? So that's Google search. Also with recommendation, just when you are browsing YouTube and you find your favorite videos, then you would see on the side, right, on the side of the screen, that they normally would give you some recommendations, right, of the types of videos that you may want to continue watching, right? And like this one, I screen capture from my recommendation, just because I'm a full-time trader as well. So I do a lot of trading stuff in the stock market. So every time that I go on YouTube, what they would recommend, what they would suggest would be something related to investment, to stock market and things like that. So, I would keep watching, I would keep watching this and over again, and what happened was that, with these recommendation, they provide recommendation based on our activities. Like they look at the types of videos that we watch, the types of search that we put in Google, the types of pages and accounts that we interact with on Facebook and so on. So they put all the data before they make recommendation for us. Right? So, and I think your recommendation would be quite different from mine, because mine it's more about, when I watch YouTube, I mainly watch, like investment and analysis videos and things like that. So that's why I suggest me like this. If you're more like, like, so let's say you mainly watch, I don't know, what do people watch, like food review, like some people like to do food review, and then when you watch food reviews, the suggestion that you get will be more related to food review. I mean, if you listen to podcasts, then what you would get would be something related to podcasts and so on, right? And yes, I think machine learning is used a lot in investment and trading, just because they have the data, so they can input the data, and then the machine can see patterns and things like that, and can make trade for you. You can basically just put the money in and let the AI does the work, and then, yeah, I think they all have, different levels that you can work with, within the stock market. Okay, so I mean, these are quite technical, right? But now I think the next example will be more related to your daily life. And some of you may not know that this is actually powered by machine learning. So the traffic light, they use data to calculate the amount of time that should be given to each side of the road, right? So, I mean, this side gets 60 seconds, this side gets 40 seconds, 20 seconds, and so on, right? Let's say you are in a junction, and then, yeah, different side of the road would get different amount of time. And it is using the data, they have okay, this side of the road has a lot more cars than the other side of the road and so on. So they get more time. I'm not sure what machine learning tools that they use in Bangkok, but I don't think it's a very good one. In my opinion, I don't think it's a very good one, because I think the algorithm that they use behind this is just doesn't look right, in many places. Even if you go around Bangkok, right, you would feel that the amount of time given to each side of the road sometimes don't make sense, and sometimes it's not related to the number of cars that you see and things like that. So, that's something weird about machine learning in Bangkok in particular, not in Thailand, though, just in Bangkok, right? Okay, so I mean, these are some of the examples of machine learning tools that we can, not the tool, the products that they use machine learning to power the performance of the products. Now, the next part is going to be more specific. Now we looked at machine learning in general. The next part, I will look at the technology that is related to language, to linguistic, to language use, and the technologies that use machine learning as a source of power of their performance. So when we look at machine learning in language, it's good to know that there's a specific field called natural language processing. in Thai we call it การประมวลภาษาธรรมชาติ so natural language processing is a technique for automating language tasks. Okay, that's simple. Okay. Basically, it's the way that we used computer to process, to understand the language that humans use, right? So we call it NLP. So it's a technique that has been around for a long time, and they use it in so many applications. Last week, I think in one of the groups, you have chosen, perhaps not in the morning class, chosen Amazon Alexa, which is the voice recognition and assistant program that you can talk, and then they can do the task for you, or they can even respond to you. That's an example of NLP, right? So NLP is the machine learning technique that we use to power technology that is related to communication and language, right? We also talk about wearable technologies, like if you can speak to your watch and then they changes according to your voice, that's a voice recognition software. I think we talked about this last week as well, that Siri, right, the voice recognition software from iPhone is a direct product really of NLP and machine learning, because it deals with how they comprehend the text that you put in, as well as how they can perform the task according to your command. The next example, it's a very interesting one. Okay, Google Translate. I know that you have used it a lot, perhaps. If you study translation, I'm not sure if you like it. When I study translation, I hate it. I'm just a bad translator. And with Google Translate, what it does is it has the English language data, and it also has the Thai language data, right? When you put an English sentence into it, they are trying to match your sentence with the sentence that they have in the Thai language data. If they can find one, they would just translate straight away. If they cannot find one, they would just look at it at the word level. Just translate this word, and put them all together. So that's why sometimes Google Translate makes sense. Sometimes it makes sense, but it's not a very good sentence. Sometimes the sentence seems incomprehensible at all, right? So, it depends on whether the machine can actually match the language data in English with the language data in Thai. Now, the ability of Google Translate is equivalent to a 6-year-old child. เพราะฉะนั้นตอนนี้เขาบอกว่าไอ้ตัวGoogle Translate เนี่ยความสามารถเขาเท่ากับประมาณเด็ก6 ขวบแล้วนะ and it will only get better, perhaps like it will be like 10 years old in the next 5 or 10 years. Who knows, right? Just one really interesting story. Because of the language data and the coding that they use in the past, I mean, when I was younger, we're talking about 10 years ago, like 2012. 2012 was when Google still sucks, it was still really bad at translating words and things like that. One way that it worked back then was if you want to translate it from I think it's from Thai to English, you have to do it from Thai to Spanish first, and then you translate the Spanish into English again. That will be more accurate than a direct translation from Thai to English. For some reason, I think perhaps just the language data that they have match better, right? But I mean, now it's Thai to English is fine now. All right, okay. Right, so I think machine translation, as they call it, will only get better with more data being input into it. And, just with the job as a translator, I mean, just to talk a little bit about that, I think in the future, I think translator will need to make use of machine translation more in order to help them save time in the translating process and so on. All right, now the last application is the use of machine learning and NLP for language assessment. Language assessment mean เรื่องคือการประเมินความสามารถทางภาษาใช่ไหมครับ and so we are talking about test like step ใช่ไหมข้อสอบสเต็ปที่พวกน้องๆอาจจะต้องสอบอะไรเงี้ยใช่ไหมครับ or we are talking about TOEFL, IELTS, TOEIC and so on. So that's the products of language assessment. They need to assess the ability to use the language, right? So a lot of the machine learning programs have been used in language assessment to what the word I'm thinking of, to actually automatically score the text. So let's say if you submit an essay into, just to give you a real example, if you take TOEFL, if you take the TOEFL exam, then your essay is not marked by human only. Your essay is marked by a computer program first, and then it was remarked or double marked by a human markers, right? And they see if the mark match, things like that. So, and that also happens with many other language tests as well. So it is used mainly just to reduce the amount of time that they would require human markers to do. Just in the past, they need 2 or 3 human markers. Now they only need just 1. And I think another upside of machine learning is it doesn't have feeling. I think with human markers, as a teacher, when I mark student essays, let's say if I'm teaching essay writing or report writing and so on, when I read the essay, as a human, although I'm trying to be objective, right? As a human, I have feelings about, with the student I've worked with and so on. So I know the student just have to give them some extra points and so on, but with machine, it doesn't have feeling, right? Just only look at the patterns and look at the language only. And I can tell you that all the teachers, when they mark writing, they all have feelings and things like that. Okay. Right. So this is just, some of the examples of machine learning products that have been used both in general and in language learning and language use in particular. Now, the next part, I'm going to show you some of the machine learning tools specifically designed for language learning. So in the first part, I will look at speaking and pronunciation. And then in the second part, I'll be looking at writing. The reason why I look mainly at the productive skill, speaking, writing, and not receptive skill like listening, reading, is mainly because I think with machine learning tools, it is more useful with productive skill, like speaking, writing, and so on. Because with listening and reading, it's more about practice and things like that. So technology doesn't play as important roles as productive skill, like speaking and writing. So the first one is called Cookie, and Cookie is arguably the best chatbot on earth. It's the best chatbot on earth. It's the smartest chatbot on earth, and you can basically enter anything, talk to Cookie about so many different things, and it's a very good tool for a student like you to practice speaking, right? Although it's not the actual speaking of going out and speak to a foreigner, but it's writing, right? But when we look at the writing in itself, I think when we talk about texting in general, and from a linguistic point of view, texting it's writing the way you speak, right? It's not like writing, but it's like speaking, but you write it, you don't speak it. So the thinking process, the cognitive process in your brain, when it happens, when you type, you are not using the writing mode, you are using the speaking mode, right? It has been researched in brain and learning for that, when people are chatting, like when you're chatting to your friends, the way that your brain function, it's not like you are writing an essay, but it's more function like you are speaking to someone. So now what we are going to do is we are going to play with Cookie. I share that with you in the chat already. And it also in the live group. So you can just click on that. It should take you to this page, right? What you need to do is you need to log in. Okay, you need to sign up and log in. Okay, sign up and log in ก็ต้องสมัครก่อนนะแล้วก็ log in นะครับ so I give you like 3 to 4 minutes to sign up and log in, right? Once you are ready, can you type 1 into the chat so I know that everyone has an account. So just keep signing up and let me know when you finish. Again, once you have signed up, can you type 1 in so I know that we can move on? All right, thank you. So I think yeah, most of you have signed up. So once you've signed up, right, just try to talk to Cookie for like just randomly, just start from, let's say, let me show you how it works. Like, okay, so let's say I would say hello. How are you? Pretty good. How about you? Not so good. Have a class, but I want to relax. So, I have a class. I want to relax. I can't. I have to teach because they pay me. Okay. Good. So, like just, when you keep talking to it, and then it will just initiate some new topic for you to talk about. My star sign is, Capricorn, and then what is your star sign and so on. Let me ask them some question, like who is the US president? Let's see if it knows. Yeah, Joe Biden. So I mean, you can ask them questions and keep talking to Gookie, right? It's a really smart chatbot. So now it's 2 o'clock. So I give you perhaps like about like 4 to 5 minutes to just talk to Cookie, right? You can use no, you can talk to it in any topics, in any ways and things like that. So just keep talking. So I give you 5 minutes and then we'll come back and we'll move on to the next technology. So just play around with this first because you will need to talk about this in the activity session as well. Okay, so I think you might have had some chance to talk to Cookie and for a bit, just keep talking and enjoy talking to her. I think it's fun, it's fun talking to her, and she even play jokes and things like that. But I mean, of course, she wouldn't know everything that we talked about, because it's a very, I think her responses are based on the data being input into her, or whether she can use all the data on Google that it's available to answer the questions and things like that. But I mean, it's a fun application, to interact with. Now I will move on to the next application. So the first one was a chatbot, right? The first one was a chatbot. Now I will move on to the second one. Okay. The second one is called pronunciation scaffolder. Pronunciation scaffolder. The word scaffold means to guide, to help, right? To guide. And pronunciation scaffolder is a free website where people can submit their text and get annotated feedback on how to pronounce word and sentences. Okay. Annotated feedback means ก็คือเป็นคล้ายๆเป็นแบบสมมติว่าเราเขียนประโยคไปเลยครับเขาอาจจะเน้นเป็นแบบไฮไลท์มาให้แบบตรงนี้ต้องเน้นตรงอะไรพวกเนี้ยนะครับ so it's very useful for people who want to improve their pronunciation or who are preparing for presentation. You can use this to help guide you with the pronunciation that you need to use, right? So let me go to the website again. So I will delete this. Find new sentence here. Let me go back and find a sentence. Okay. Right. So how this technology works, let me share that with you as well now. This one doesn't require any registration. You can just go to the website and use it. It's very user-friendly, very simple. Okay. The way that it works here is, okay, you would type in the text, right? Oh, I'm sorry. You would just put the text that you would like in, and at the top there are different filters that you can use, right? This one, pausing, so it will tell you when to pause, right? So after you speak to this point, then you need to pause. The next one is intonation, right? Whether you need to have a rising, falling, and so on, highlighting errors, and in some cases suggesting correction, just errors, just to emphasize this. It will also show you what the content words are. I mean, content words are the words that are important, noun, verbs, and so on. Word stress, just for each word, right? Which syllable of the word you should put the stress on, like allow, learners, submit, respond, feedback, highlighting, errors, some cases, it just give you some guideline that you can follow. ED ending or automated, right? Don't forget TH, like TH sound, that, they, the, then S sound, just make sure that you don't forget learners, allowed, prompts, text, cases, consonant link. Okay, just, whether you need to link the sound together, just, let's say, submit text, write-in response, and then we also have wow links, just to link wows together. That allow, when you link sound together. And it's not just giving you the annotation, right? It also tells you what to do, like with SES, right? With SES, it also tells you specifically if it should be just or us, right? So in this case, you can see this one is text, right? Text, so voiceless text, right? But this one is cases. So it tells you everything. So to me, and this one is powered by machine learning, right? Because they use all the grammatical knowledge that the developer of the program input into this machine, and then allow it to give you feedback on this and that and so on. Right. Okay, so you can just submit any text into this, right? And then it will allow you to do pretty much anything, with the text. I think for me, this is very useful when you prepare for presentation. So let's say if you study, I don't know what's the subject, English for presentation or something, that they would require you to present quite often, and then you need to prepare PowerPoint and things like that. You can put your script into this and make sure that you get everything right before, as a part of the rehearsal, before you go into the actual presentation, right? Just to make sure that you get all the pronunciation correct. All right. So yeah, this is a good technology. So make sure that you make use of it in some ways. So let's move on. Where are we now? Okay. The last piece of technology is Cambridge Speak and Improve. And of course, this was developed by Cambridge. It is a free tool that allows learners to speak in response to prompts and then get feedback on the text, right? It provides you with 5 complete practice tests, which are based on lingual skills speaking exam, but they are also perfect practice for any other exam as well. And just for English language learner, if you want to build your confidence and improve your speaking. So I'm gonna send you the link, but I don't think we need to play with this one. But I mean, you can play around with this one in your own time. The link is also in the live group, but I share it again here. So basically, but with Speak and Improve here, it's very specific. Okay, it's very specific. It's not about general it's very specific, and it's not about general question. It's more like about question that for those who are preparing to take the IELTS and TOEFL and so on. And it's a very detailed, it gives you feedback on your pronunciation, on the score that you would get and so on, right? And it also used the spectrogram, something we learned with Ajahn Bang, when we talk about phonology and things like that, as a way to show, your speaking pattern, so that you can learn and understand your speaking pattern so much more, right? Okay, so just play around with this in your own time. Okay, I don't think we have time to go into detail with this, but it's a very good speaking program if you want to prepare for the test. All right, now let's move on to the second part. Okay, it's machine learning tools for writing. Okay, machine learning tools for writing. I think in the last section we talked about machine learning tool for speaking. Right, this one we will move on and focus on writing. Again, it's also from Cambridge, so Cambridge Write and Improve. I mean, I was also part of the team that developed this program when I studied at Cambridge, right? So I was in the research group where we developed this program. So I learned a lot about the inner working and the computational, I was looking for computational process, you know, behind the whole thing, you know, just with machine learning and things like that. So basically, so I'm going to walk you through it. So it's a free tool that allows learners, anyone, to submit their text that they write in response to a prompt, and then get feedback on the text, right? And the feedback is not given to you by human, it is given to you by computer or machine. It highlights the errors that you make, and in some cases, it also suggests corrections for you. So they tell you this sentence is not right, this word is not right, and they also suggest some correction as well. The program involves a number of inner workings of the product. The first one is the corpus of essay from Cambridge exams. And if you remember from Ajahn Barami, Ajahn Bhatt, who talked about corpus, right? So it's a collection of language data that you can use for different objectives, right? And this one, they use the corpus of essays from Cambridge exam to create a machine that can score an essay and also give feedback. They also have the English Profile program. It's the if you are familiar with the Common European Framework, the CEFR, you know, from A1 to B2, this is the description of what learners in each level can do. You know, like if you are in A1, then this is what you can do. You need to know like 500 words and things like that. They also have iTutor, which is the human marker, right? So it's not just marked purely by machine, right? They also use human to double mark the essay. And there are also two coding algorithms that they use, so error detection and error correction. So they detect the error and they also correct the error as well. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Cambridge Learner Corpus. So the Cambridge Learner Corpus, it's a large collection of texts produced by English language learners around the world. So it's the text that they, I mean, if you take the exam, you know, if you take the IELTS, if you take the Cambridge Main Suite or the Cambridge Business Suite, it's basically putting all the data that they have, but not just the essay, right? But essay with marking. So this essay would get this score, and this essay has this one wrong, and then with correction, so that the machine can learn that, okay, this sentence is not right, they need to correct it. And then when they actually give the score or feedback to an essay, they can do it. Let me give you some concrete example. So let's say if you have an essay, if you have one essay, right? And in that essay, the writer of the essay, right, waters. So water is not something that should have S, right? Right? So it should be just water, not waters. When we correct it in the essay, so we would say no S, right? Because it's not, we don't count water and so on, right? And when we teach that to the program, the next time that the program see waters, they would say, no, this is wrong, because it's not countable and so on, just the machine would learn and they would apply it to the next marking or the next scoring that they do, and what else? Yeah, just, let's say if we are talking about different word, just, like the word important, yeah, the word important. And then the opposite of the word important is unimportant, right? So if there is an essay that write this important, this important, and we marked it as no, it's the wrong use of the word, and we use that essay to put that into the program. The next time the program see this word, the program will be able to detect and say, no, this is not right, this is wrong. Just so you know roughly how it works, just they only correct what human can correct first. Right? They only correct what human can correct first, and they will see pattern, right? Just if there are 100 essays and 100 essays use water with S, they will learn it, and then the next time that they see it, they will be able to detect it as an error. So the English profile program, it's as I mentioned, right? It's a CFR level, but it's only in English, right? So CFR is not for English actually, and a lot of you may not know, but it's not for English. It's for every European language, German, French, and so on, right? But with English, they call English profile program, and so what the program does, it provides a description for each level, like A1, what learner at the A1 level can do, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2. It gives description in terms of lexical, grammar, syntax, discourse, phonology, and so on. Right? Yeah, so just to give you a brief look of what it looks like. Now, what I would like you to do next, so now that you understand, briefly the inner working of the program, what we are going to do next is I'm going to just go to writeandimprove.com. Okay, writeandimprove.com. And what I would like you to do now is I would like you to sign up again, because you will need this, okay, for your activity that we are going to do today. So please sign up for this. And once you finish, let me know. So once you finish signing up, can you type in 1 so I know that we can move on? Again, just don't forget to let me know when you finish. Okay, so now let's let me show you something, right? Let's say so now once you sign in, right? It should take you to this page, right? Where there are a lot of levels for you to write. You can do beginner, intermediate, advanced. You can do business. You can do just for fun. Okay, you can do just for fun, and it can be pretty much any topics, okay, that you would like to do. So let me try. Okay, a lost bag, you know. So if you read this, you went to your friend's J house yesterday and left your bag there. Write an email to J. Say what color the bag is, what is inside the bag, where in the house you left it. You can say, hi J, I leave my bag at your home yesterday. Trying to make some mistake as well. The bag color is green, and there is many things inside. I leave it in your bedroom. Cheers. That. So you can see how it works. So now, once you have done it, okay, once you have done it, you can just click check. And it's now using the machine to give you feedback and score and things like that. You know, and if you look at this, right, you know, I left my bag at your home yesterday. The color, the bag color is green, and there, no, just the word does not, see, they say the word does not agree with the other word. So it should be there or and things like that. Right. So the color means different things. If you click help here, they would say, if it is this color, this seems a good sentence. If it is this color, the sentence could maybe improve. And this one, there are some problems in this sentence, right? So it gives you feedback, but perhaps not too detailed feedback, right? Just give you like, okay, this sentence may need improvement and so on. And my level is still A1, you know. And then what you can do, you can edit your answer and you can check again, you know, like, so here I changed it, there are, and I left it, the color of the bag. Check, you can do check again. Right, so when I check it again, then, you know, it's just getting a little bit better. Yeah, still not perfect in that sense, you know, but it just, you know, give you a rough sense of what the program can do, right? So right now, what I would like you to do is, so now let's look at the activity. Again, so I would like you to work in a group of 4 to 5 people. And I would like you to play with the machine learning technology that we talked about today. So from the chatbot, pronunciation scaffolder, speak and improve if you want to if you would like to play, as well as write and improve. And what I would like you to talk with your friends about, you need to find out what it does well and what needs improvement. You know, what the program does well and what do you think needs to be improved. And the second question is, what do you like about the technology? And the second one is, what don't you like about the technology? And again, you need to also report back to the class as well. Okay, so now it's 2:30. So I give you about, you know, roughly perhaps 15 minutes to play around with it and, you know, to chat with your group members. And then when we come back, then we will discuss, you know, what you think about these machine learning technologies. Okay, so I'm going to do the breakout room now. So I think 4 groups would work. Just and 15 minutes. So now you can now join the room.